I was blogging once a week I did it for like 2 years. And I just put out a lot of my thoughts. And it was how I developed my own voice and like, what do I want to talk about? What do I think? By
Dude,
putting out
goosebumps. That was me too. 2 years of blogging is what helped me find my voice.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody read my blog either.
I know. I was about to say, like, I had comments on there and like, I think I have like 2 comments in 2 years. Like, that's it. Maybe like, I think you could heart it. I don't even remember what platform I was on. But yeah, but it helped me develop the muscle of writing my ideas out.
The Perspective Podcast is fuel for your mind and creative grind. Each week, my guests and I provide the skills for thinking bigger, overcoming adversity, and making an impact with your work.
PC family, I'm stoked to introduce you to my longtime friend, Austin Saylor of Full Harbor. It has been too long, man. How are you doing today? Catch us up. What's going on in your hood?
Oh, I'm doing great. So awesome to talk with you. It has been a while. Just moved to New York. I'm excited and super stoked to be talking with you. I don't know. I'm just excited to talk about kind of moving side hustle towards making money that's maybe more than you thought you could make.
Definitely. And
that's kind of it.
And it's funny, you and I got started, 6 years ago? Maybe we linked up. Was it Sean West Community?
Yep.
It's where we first
Creative
linked up,
South.
like Creative South family. Yeah. And before we go into that, so for those who may not know about you, just give us a brief Wikipedia page summary about yourselves, as we got like a really killer topic to get to today that I think is what I mentioned in email. I want to just inject a hard dose of reality and tough love for those who want to do their thing full time, but then give people a lot of hopium, boost their spirits. Like, hey, this is possible for you too. Because both of you and I didn't think where we're climbing today wasn't possible years ago when we first got started. So,
yeah. So I'll start with the end. Basically, I'm at a place where I'm working towards making $200,000 as a freelance motion designer. But I started as like going to college, not sure what I wanted to do. Graphic design was like, looked cool. Did that. My dad was like, you're never going to make much money with that. Just beware. And I was like, oh no. And so I left college like scared that like, oh shoot, I'm stuck in a place where I'm never going to like hardly be financially secure. And so I read some books, 4-Hour Work Week. Honestly, the names of the books are blanking on me, but I just read everything I could business wise and tried tons of stuff for probably 7 years before anything actually kind of worked. I tried doing a side hustle of branding and then web design. And then I made wallets and belts out of leather, which, fun story, that the name of that company was Full Harbor. And it was sort of like a branding / product / marketing experiment, which I think could have done well. I just didn't know things I needed to know at the time. And through experimentation over the years, I got to a place where I left my job, went freelance as a way to make it to the next job. But then I just never got the next job because I kept figuring it out as I went, and launched a course, decided not to teach courses this year, focus fully on freelance. And there's lots to talk about in there, but yeah, that's kind of been my journey over the last 6 or 7 years, or I guess 12 years since I left college and 6 years since I left the full-time job.
There is so much parallel between my story and your story. Just figuring out, going to school, I was basically told like art isn't a career to make money in, so then I found graphic design, and then graphic design wasn't making me money. I was just stuck in my head. I mean, I was broke in my opinion, because I grew up broke. So I was just destined to be a broke person. And I'm glad we're talking about this today, because I want to like normalize talking about money. Because if you're scared to talk money is going to be scared to come to you.
Agreed.
In my opinion.
Totally.
Yeah. If you get one thing I want someone to hear about this today, never call yourself broke. Stop saying you can't afford that. Like negatively charged language about money, takeaways right away is maybe it's just, I'm overcoming financial hurdles right now. Say something like that. I can't afford that. No, I'm just overcoming financial hurdles right now. Or it's just not something I need at this moment. And I'll get it when it's ready. The time is ready. Just little changes of your mindset towards money will go a long way. So can we talk about?
Can I interject one thing over there?
Hell yeah.
I can't afford that. One switch that's really helped me is like, how can I afford that? Instead of saying I can't, like as a definitive, say, how can I? And if it's something that you really want, you can figure out how to afford it, how you can figure out how to bring money in or save money.
If you really, really want something, you will find a way to get it, whether it's coaching, a course, hiring you for a project. Yeah. I mean, this is Side Hustler's perspective for a reason. Like we find ways to make some cheddar if we really, really want something. But anything else you want to add to that? I think it's a beautiful shift right there. Everything's a mindset shift.
It's huge. And I was just talking to my wife yesterday about how I still have money issues. I'm making twice as much as I've usually made. And I still have problems either spending money or worried about money. And so I'm recognizing that there's still mindset stuff I have to work on. Just making money doesn't solve all the problems. But money does solve money problems. I'm all about like money doesn't solve everything, but money does solve money problems. And figuring out how to make money and then unblock yourself so that it's still not an issue going forward is huge.
Definitely. I think I still deal with it too, but I think we're both at a point self-awareness wise, we can put ourselves in check. And usually it stems from scarcity mindset. Like, what if it all goes away? What if tomorrow I'm not making this amount? I get it. I have to put myself in that check too. And another book I want to add on top of this, you mentioned 4-Hour Workweek. I put everything in a resources references section on show notes. But You're a Badass at Making Money by Jen Sincero. She was like, from the book, You Are a Badass. She made a making money version of it. That book changed my life. That is in the show notes. If you struggle with your relationship with money, not only listen to this and connect with us, but check out that book too. Just dropping dimes right from the jump. You built this again. It's been a slow and steady grind for you. That's the philosophy I preach here. Can you talk about how this was a side hustle in the beginning and then how you converted it to full-time freelance and, you did courses and everything there? Can you speak towards that? Because I think in the pregame, we talked about how it's just so over-glorified doing your thing full-time. Shit is hard. It's super hard. Not everyone's cut out for it. I talk about this often with guests, but I'd like to hear about your experience, how you put in the time, the hours, the energy, the effort, some of the failures, and then how you finally found your groove.
Yeah. So my side hustle all started like literally right when I got my first job out of college. I was like, okay, this is awesome. I'm getting paid to.
Did you graduate 2010 as well?
2008.
2008. Okay.
I was one of two people in my graduating class to get a job. So I was like, it wasn't my dream job by any means, but I knew that like getting that first job was going to be hard because of the economy at the time. And just because everybody wants like 2 or 3 years experience. And so I was just like, hell yeah, I got a job, and kind of quickly realized like, I don't love it, but I don't know what else to do. And so I was like trying things on the side, and I literally failed at almost everything I did, which I'm very surprised that I didn't get so demoralized that I just quit trying. But I didn't. I just kept going and pivoting. I think sometimes I maybe pivot too easily, and I,
like shiny object syndrome.
Yes, that's the side of pivoting that isn't always great is running after shiny objects. But when you're in a tight spot and things aren't going well and you're like, this isn't the right thing, pivoting is it's the same action, but it's pivoting when you need to. And I even pivoted last year or at the beginning of this year. So instead of focusing on building my courses and products, I pivoted backwards, quote unquote, backwards into service work. Let's see. I feel like I'm skipping ahead. So basically struggled for 7.5 years to like try to do something on the side, grinding away, excited about it all. And I would have, so many ups and downs. Mostly didn't make much extra money, but I was like, there is so much potential here. I have to keep trying. The day job will always be an option, and the grind is just something that I want to do to figure out how to run my own business, whatever it is in the end. I don't know what it's going to be. And for me, like one special thing is my wife is super supportive. And so she's always been like I believe in you. You can do this. So that's been super helpful. Kind of just throwing it at her randomly, but I can never, every time I think about the old days of like doing the leather business, and I'm just like, I just don't know. She's like, no, you got this. Like, she believes in me more than I do sometimes, which is
Wifey
super
for the
awesome.
win.
Yes. So let's see, my side hustle, I jumped from full-time job into full-time freelance. And it's one of those things where I'm like, I wasn't prepared and I went for it, but literally it was like my job just got to a place where I needed to leave and I didn't have a new job yet. And I had one freelance client. I was like, all right, we'll see how far that can go.
Did you have did you have debt though? And did you have savings or a runway built up though?
Yes. I had no debt. And
talk about how you had like some kind of a plan at least.
Yes. I had been thinking about it for a long time. My plan at the time, and this is one of those things that you just have to pivot. Like plans are invaluable, or planning is invaluable, but plans are useless. Like as soon as the next day happens, your plan might be total shit, but like you had a plan, you know where you want to go, like having something on the horizon, you don't know exactly the path in the water you're going to take. And I think that life is a lot more like water. I've never thought about it this way, but like on ground, you can see a road and you can follow a road, but our life is a lot more like being on the water. You don't know where the path is. You might see long distance where you want to go, but the winds are going to change and you're going to be shifting around. Full harbor.
I was waiting for the tie-in on this.
Yeah, always
Austin Saylor,
sailing
folks.
Analogy. Yep. But yeah, it wasn't the plan to stay freelance. The plan was to save up in case I needed to go freelance, but I really wanted to get a job at a studio where I could learn from other creatives, like be around people, because I was kind of like the one-man creative show at the company. But life happened and I went freelance, and it was honestly like the most awesome and terrifying experience. And so I rarely recommend people do that, just complete jump, because it's like terrifying. And I think it took me longer to really get my legs under me because I wasn't really ready.
Your sea legs.
But I exactly. But I was pretty determined to make it work. I think there have probably been 30 different times over the last 4 years that I was like, I need to go get a job. This is too much. But I absolutely love having that flexibility to not keep working for the same person if I don't want to. It's hard because you go from, I love the adage of when you're working for a boss, you may hate your boss. You may like hate their decisions or hate that they're telling you what to do. But if you're just like, if I go freelance, I have no boss. Well, no, actually you have lots of bosses. And so like you're not getting rid of that problem exactly. You're just inheriting and garnering a whole bunch of new ones. But the good thing about it, the good side of that is you don't have to keep working for the same bosses. You can switch. And so like over the years, I've found that, and I'm also shifting my mindset into being like partnering with companies rather than them being my boss for 2 weeks or 5 weeks or whatever. I really like to communicate with clients that I'm partnering with them for their success, rather than just like tell me what to do.
Like I remember,
like I'm a little all over the place here, but yeah.
I remember in the early days of you like really getting into the motion graphics, it was your niche at the time was lettering, motion graphics for letterers. And it seemed to be doing really well. Like you even helped me when I had my first big talk at Creative South. You animated the opening type that I had on the screen when I did like my introduction part. You helped me with the Good Type scholarship logo that I drew up back in the day. That was
one of the first ones that I was like, oh my gosh, I've made it. Like I am animating something for Good Type made by Scotty.D.Russell. Like this is so good.
Back when I was a letterer, like, wow, we've just come so far.
I haven't even talked about that because it feels so, it's like a year away from, like 3 years ago, I launched the first lettering animation course. And I guess 5 years ago is when I started animating lettering. but like, you go through your own evolutions of style and things that you focus on. And lettering animation was something that was so helpful for me to build an audience because it was so niche. And I had been preached to like find your niche. And I was at a crossroads of like, I just went freelance. Now I want to be known for something. And even though I wasn't making, it's like freelance became my day job and lettering animation became my side hustle. I wasn't making money from it. I was just only like literally on my Instagram. If you scroll back like a few years, everything I posted was lettering animation, even though that was not what I was making my money with. That's what I wanted people to see. And so I chose to curate that and build an audience around something that like, exactly what you're going to get when you subscribe to me, whether it was a newsletter or Instagram. But yeah,
there's a
so
big
that's
thing. You talked about niching down right there, but I don't want people to feel like, hey, you're just getting started and you got to find your niche right away. Because what I really want to stress the importance of, it took you about 7-ish years, you had mentioned.
Oh, yeah.
To figure out your side hustle. Where's this going to go? Up and down. No idea. Throwing spaghetti against the wall, seeing what stick. But a couple little important characteristics I find in people like you and myself and other people who spent years trying to find their thing. Like it took me probably 7-ish years until my thing finally clicked too. And people are just like, I'm 6 months into this shit. I haven't found my niche. I don't know what's going on. I'm just not cut out for it. 100%. You never even gave yourself a chance to try, but you had an internal drive. You stayed hungry. You had a support system, whether even if it's just your wifey, you had faith in yourself. That's something else, and faith in whatever else out there is like you're working toward it. It's working back towards you. Mm-hmm. And you just stuck with it. I stuck with it. I think the people that are most successful in like turning their side hustle into their full-time gig or whatever they want in life, they stick with shit, even if it's hard. Like, I think Monty Williams, the Phoenix Suns head coach, was like, everything you want in life is on the other side of hard. And I was like, ooh, that hit me. Yeah. That hit me. So, but then you got to a point where you could niche. I got to a point where I could niche because we've done so many freaking things to figure out what finally works for us. What's something we're really good at? What's something we really enjoy doing, what I call the sweet spot. And now the demand, the solution, the unique value and impact we can create. That's kind of like the third ingredient that comes along once you found something you really like and something you really enjoy. Now you can start finding where the market is. And usually the market will find you, or you'll start getting hit up with a bunch of questions or a bunch of client inquiries, whatever it is, so.
Yeah. And like you said, that's such an important part of, I didn't pick lettering animation as a niche, just like when I started doing creative work. I mean, yeah, I went through design school and multiple shifts of career at I had the same job for 7 years, but I was like branding and then more into the like marketing and email marketing and then UI, UX, and then video. And then I started realizing like I wanted to do animation. So I pushed that at the job. Like, can I animate this instead of shooting a video? And they were like, okay, let's give it a shot. And so I was constantly evolving and changing and shifting, and all the time, like we'll probably get into this later, but like working on networking. I didn't know that's what I was doing at the beginning. Like 2008 is when I left or got my first job. That's when Twitter started. Someone was like, you should probably join Twitter. I think you'd like it. And so I like got my first Twitter account in 2008 and have literally just been connecting with people in the creative space for however many years that is, 12, 11,
something 13, like that. I know
13 years.
And we connected at Creative South. Yeah. You, me, and so, that whole crew, we still all like link up and stay connected.
Yep. But yeah, niching can be powerful, but it's not powerful just by choosing something niche and rare to focus
like,
on.
Oh my God, the money and the opportunities over here. I'm like, dude, you haven't even done any of the internal work yet. And you're over here focusing on external results and wondering why, like, you're not winning, why you haven't gotten your breakthrough. I'm like, you haven't even done any of the hard internal work of like who you are. What are you really good at? What do you really enjoy doing before you're like, where's the opportunity at? What's the product I can build? And then I'll find the audience. I'm like, actually, it starts with you first.
Yep.
Yeah. Everybody's trying to like what I like to say, everybody's trying to go from like skipping from riding like a tricycle, a Strider bike, like my son is on, and they want to go straight to a Harley. like there's so many phases in between before you can niche down and be like, I'm all Harley all the time.
Which is actually
writer.
It's a blessing to have phases along the way and to grow slowly. You get to fail and make stupid mistakes without an audience. Man, that's awesome. If you, it can really destroy people's like sense of self when they grow so fast without having that a slow growth experience. And they're like shoved into the limelight, and it's like all of a sudden you're so afraid to make a mistake.
They're just a one-hit wonder then.
Yeah. And it's not, I don't think, what anybody really wants. And so that was something that was preached to me from before I had any kind of audience at all. And I was like, sweet, okay, I'm gonna take this opportunity. Actually, one of my things that helped me build momentum, I think, but momentum is another one of those huge kind of undervalued things. I was blogging once a week I did it for like 2 years. And I just put out a lot of my thoughts. And it was how I developed my own voice and like, what do I want to talk about? What do I think? By putting out
goosebumps. That was me too. 2 years of blogging is what helped me find my voice.
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody read my blog either.
I know. I was about to say, like, I had comments on there, and like, I think I have like 2 comments in 2 years. Like, that's it. Maybe like, I think you could heart it. I don't even remember what platform I was on. But yeah, but it helped me develop the muscle of writing my ideas out.
Now you can write scripts. Now you can do everything. Now you're client communication. Now you're way more conviction and confidence in what you do and the value you provide because you wrote all those years. One thing I also want to say is the beauty of the slow and steady grind is it gives you time to find your value. You figure out how to do all the nitty gritty behind the scenes in terms of taxes and running a business. Like if you're just thrown into it, like I'm going to go full time. I'm like, you don't know anything, the difference between LLC and S Corp. You don't know anything about quarterly taxes, personal income estimated, quarterly taxes. Yeah. Oh my God. I got crushed in quarter 1, which is a great thing, but hopefully I overpaid a lot. So I get back a big amount, but yeah, going from like once a year reporting your taxes under your social security name to now quarterly estimated taxes under your LLC business EIN name and all this. It's just, it gives you time to figure things out, not have to like take such massive risks, gives you room to fail, experiment, find your groove, build relationships along the way. Like slow and steady grind here.
I think
people just don't want to play that patience game.
One of the biggest like gaps in the space of like, I'm going to help you become successful with, whatever your skill is, like build a course, whatever. I think that one of the biggest gaps in there is the development of the skill that you can then teach. So if you like, I'm interested in teaching, I love teaching. And I'm honestly very glad that I've taken a break from teaching to go have experience in the thing that I want to be a better teacher in. It's kind of like that thing where like someone goes through a PhD and now they can teach whatever the thing is. Well, if you've never been in the field and you don't have experience, you may be teaching theoretical stuff, but like owning it a little bit, like getting some dirt under your nails, like really gives you a lot more oomph. And the annoying thing about the gap in the market in terms of like people teaching you how to be successful with the skill you've learned is that people will take that and it's like, yeah, I've been a creative person for a year. I want to now teach this. Well, like teach it through blog posts, but like creating a course, I don't think you're going to be terribly effective at helping other people because you don't have enough experience. And like, don't cheat yourself on jumping into this too quickly. Like I know you talk about this all the time, play the long game. Give yourself time to learn the thing that you want to do and then help people. Although that I can get into all sorts of details. I've been thinking a lot lately about the difference between mentorship and coaching. Coaching has a lot more to do with like, well, maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong on this, Coach Scotty.D.Russell. But if in my mind, coaching has a lot more to do with like asking really good questions and pulling the best out of somebody. Mentorship is something that's like, I've been where you want to be. Let me mentor you and like help you like raise you up to where I am. Coaching is like, you could coach someone on something totally irrelevant to what you're doing if you're a good coach. And so like, anyways, then there's teaching skills. So that's like teacher, mentor, coach. They're three different things, but I think those can get conflated into content creator. And it's like, well, like it's good to know like where your strengths are, and to like gain some experience before just like regurgitating inspirational quotes. Anyways,
Yeah.
that's kind of my soapbox.
And 100% coaching for me is more like, how can I ask powerful questions where you can find the answer yourself? It's not about me. Like I see myself more as a GPS in someone's car versus like me sitting front seat telling them every step-by-step directions. Just like the GPS and be like, hey, this is a good route, but are you sure you want to go this route? Or can I ask you a powerful question that radically makes you like think differently where you find the answer yourself? It's hard to like make moves if we're not constantly like seeking answers within. But I do want to pivot to this one. You posted a Twitter thread recently about your road to making 200K as a freelance motion designer. And I saw like your pinned tweet. Let me see if I can actually pull this up real quick, just so people can see it. And everybody should check out Brave browser, by the way. A lot more privacy. Basically Google on steroids. So yeah, first off, this is what caught my attention with your pinned tweet. Go follow Austin, BT Dubs. Project 200K, January 14th. Is it possible to make 200K as a freelance motion designer? It's your pinned tweet. All right. July 1st, you posted this when it caught my attention. I'm on track to make 200K this year with freelance motion design. Here are 4 tips for getting whatever it is you want. Now, I'm not going to read all of this from the tweet, but I think it's important for us to go over this little onslaught of thread that you put out there that seemed to be really, really, really successful in reaching people, getting people to think. But the main thing I took away from this, I'm like, yo, you put something out there and you're manifesting it. And I'm all about law of attraction, but it's not just like, hey, I want this. I'm going to think I have it and then I'm going to get it. I'm like, that's part of it. But the other part is like taking massive action, having faith on yourself, betting big and going all in. So if you could like talk about the 4 steps towards your road to 200K and like the 4 tips to get whatever you want.
Yeah. So the first one is network creates your net worth. I've talked about that here a little bit, where I've been networking with people since 2008. Well, I guess technically in school, I still keep up with some people I went to school with, and everything that I've gotten, almost everything, I'll say 98% of everything that I've gotten has come from some kind of connection that I've made through the years, whether that's, well, when I went freelance and people on Twitter were like, oh, Austin's freelance now. I'm busy. Here's a freelance gig. Can you take this? I'm like, scared the shit out of me, but you know what? I'm going to say yes and figure it out along the way. And like, I know that I've been able to pass work on to other people, like in the freelance world specifically. Network is everything. And maybe just as much, if not more so, in the world of like business and creating products, networking with people, partnering with people, getting on a podcast with Scotty. We met years ago, like all these different things. If you're literally just sitting back, hoping that your work on Instagram gets discovered and you're not actually communicating with people and asking great questions, just like connecting like a human being, that's networking. I'm tired of saying networking doesn't have to be sleazy, because I feel like most people do a good job of networking naturally and they just don't feel like it's networking. But you can also do good networking on a systematic way. Like I have a spreadsheet of people that I've connected with, and I have a reminder that says you should connect with them again in 4 months. And so like, I'm not always great at keeping up with that, but I have a database that I can go back to of people that I've connected with and enjoyed being around, basically.
Something can I add to that? I think it's Seth Godin and This Is Marketing talks about, instead of hope marketing, putting stuff out there and hoping it does something, relationship marketing. Like I prefer instead of network, just because it's been tainted by gross people, especially on LinkedIn, like, hey, just trying to network. I feel like that's just give me a weird connotation. So I'm all for network equals your network, but like relationship marketing, like building relationships with one person at a time, not trying to get anything from them, You know, people just hit you up all the time, like, "Hey, can I get on your podcast? You know, I just want to be on there so I can get exposed to your audience or thing." I'm like,
I want this from
yeah.
you.
I'm like, that's a take mentality. Like, relationship marketing is about like, how can I give you value without expecting anything in return? And good karma comes along. You never know when that person's going to be like a top recommendation for something else. So give without expecting to receive.
Big time.
Mm-hmm.
Go on to number 2 is patience. We've talked about that a little too. Been at this for a long time, been out of college for 12 years and been building relationships for 6. Sometimes the relationships you build won't ever get you a monetary win. And that is fine, because if you're focused on relationships, then that's worth something in and of itself. And then it just happens to work out that those relationships and well, they'll bring projects, or they'll bring a connection, or whatever it is. A kind of a tangential thing on the networking thing is that your peripheral network is also very powerful. It's not just the people you know, but the people they know. And so let's say 120 people really well, but those 120 people also know 120 people. It expands so fast. And so even if you think like, wow, I don't know anybody, well, the people know people, and it just goes on and on. We're all connected. Like, we're literally all connected. So you're only a few steps away. I remember actually, Scotty, you said something not too long ago in a group message with some like lettering artist friends of ours, and you were like, any of us is like one tweet away from it, exploding in a good way.
So
like,
we're all just
up.
one scroll, swipe, click, one open app away from like one right person seeing your work, just the perfect person to give you this breakthrough. But every time we don't put ourselves out there, scared to show our work, scared to network and build a relationship, I mean, you're killing your odds of ever having the ball bounce your way. So run, scroll, swipe away from like having something happen for yourself, big happen for yourself. So,
and if you're out there hearing this and you're like, I'm so nervous about connecting with people, and you don't want to be rejected. Like, I've been doing this for 6 years very intentionally, and I still get nervous about it. Like, when I moved to New York, I'm like, I'm so excited. Moved to New York. I'm going to network with everybody. I just this weekend, after a month and a half, finally connected with other motion designers. Like, I'm nervous to like meet with people. And so even somebody who's done it for a long time gets nervous. And every single time I do it, I don't regret it. So like, you will get rejected by some people, but most people are really kind. And if you're being genuine and just want to reach out and connect and build a relationship, yeah, I don't think you will get rejected far less than you expect. So if that's a fear of yours, just do it.
If that's a fear of yours, pretty much that's just all systems go. Your spider sense is tingling like, damn, this is something I need to do. Yeah. Growth lives in the land of fear.
Yep. Maybe I'll move on to number 3, which is ask for what you want. This is like, put it out in the universe. Very practically speaking, when I went freelance the first time, I had been building a network, but I started vlogging. I was a big fan of Casey Neistat. And so I'm like, I'm going to do daily vlogs, which didn't last very long, but I got the word out that I wanted, that I was taking on freelance. And I did it in a way that did not come across as desperate. Desperate smells bad.
And the scent of desperation is gross.
It's so gross. Even though it may be real. And I felt desperate, but I chose not to like put that deodorant on. Like, let's
Old
put on
Spice can't cover up that scent.
And so vlogs really, really helped. Not a ton of people watched it, but I don't need 1,000 people to watch a video for me to get like one good freelance project. And so that was me asking for what I wanted out in public. And another big example of that has been this 200K project. I originally wasn't going to be publicizing it. I was just kind of like, okay, I'm going to focus, get, heads down. Let's make money this year. And I was like, you know what? I love being transparent, and I want to ask for what I want. And like you saw in this tweet, January 14th, I was like, hey, I'm going to try to make 200,000 this year. And the number of people that reached out to say either just an encouraging thing. I think I only had like 2 people go like, money isn't everything. I'm like, actually, I didn't even have to say anything. People that follow me who I don't even know were like, yo, you don't even know Austin. He's not going to do this in a bad way.
Yeah.
Like, he's all about being healthy and blah, blah, blah. So I was like, oh, cool. My audience is stepping up for me. I don't even have to like say anything. But then I literally had 4 people, starting to get real practical here. 4 people reached out and said, I've either made 200,000 or way more than that. And, here's some tips. And so I got tips from people who had already done the thing. I didn't know they made that much money. They're not talking about it. It's kind of like we talked about earlier. Money is like a weird thing to talk about, or for some reason, people think it's weird to talk about money. I get it, but also I love talking about money. So
for those 2 people that are like, money isn't everything, it's weird for them because they probably have a poor relationship with it. And yeah, they just don't want to hear other people talk about it because it makes them feel shitty about themselves. At least that was how it was for me.
Sure. Yeah. And I get it. Some people don't want to talk about money, and you don't have to follow me. You can't please everybody. So like, I totally get it. I'm not pizza.
Ask for what you want. I don't know who told me this, but closed mouths don't get fed. So if you're not asking for what you want right now, whatever it is, like, hey, I'm going full-time freelance. Like, people will celebrate you. People will help you out. But like, hey, I want to make 200K, or hey, I'm going to bring my wife home one day from her job that she doesn't love to come work for me. Universe, work with me to make this happen. And I promise I'll put in the action behind it. Yep. If you can just start pulling the levers and triggers and everything behind the scenes for me, that'd be great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Because man, like, asking for what you really want, I think is important, and not just kind of like, it'd be cool if, but like having your gut and your heart like fully behind something is really powerful. And if what you really want is to like retire your spouse or retire your mom or
be a crypto millionaire,
be a crypto millionaire. Yes. If that's what you want, like, ask for it. But yeah, there's not everybody wants the same thing, which is kind of beautiful. And 200K just seemed like, for whatever reason, the thing that just really connected with me. Like, yes, that's what I want to do.
We're talking just gross, right? Just gross 200K.
Yeah.
Or net.
Gross.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whew. Like maybe next year it's net 200K.
Yeah. And this is just with freelance. I still have Full Harbor membership and some affiliate stuff. So like, I'm hoping and I'm thinking that this year will be more than 200K total income. And it's amazing. As soon as you take a step forward into something that's hard and it works, like, you're going to take steps forward that are hard and it doesn't work for a long time. Then all of a sudden, it's like when you're blowing up a balloon, like the first few blows of the balloon are so hard to push through. And then it becomes easy. You push through a barrier and you get past something. It just, oh, this stuff is easy.
When it's a powerful, powerful thing, when you ask for what you want and you boldly step in an aggressive, difficult direction, the universe is not only going to bring you opportunities like clients, but it's going to put people along your path to help guide you and get there. You put that onto the universe. You had 4 people reach out with tips on how to help. Like, you attracted that because you asked for what you wanted. You would have never gotten that had you just like timidly lived a passive life and be like, 200K, just no way, new way. Like, money is subjective. I used to think 100K was like unachievable. And then I did it my first year. And I'm like, actually 100K isn't that hard. It just takes a while, patience, all the tips you're saying today. Money's subjective. What you think is expensive, someone else's think is a bargain.
Yep.
So that is a huge
super relative
mindset curve. Like 200K to you seems probably way out of your reach when you first set that goal. But now once you hit it and go, you're going to blow past it. Now it's like, okay, 200K really isn't that much. $1 million really isn't that much to other people. So, I mean, there's a fucking billionaire space race right now. So you really think 100K is that much? No, it's just all within your head and your limitations.
Yep. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Let's see. I'll move on to step 4. And this is be persistent. Showing up, doing the stuff, like the years and years of grinding on something that doesn't end up working. It takes a lot of persistence to keep doing that. And you literally don't know what's going to work. Like, you don't know what's going to click with people. And so it's a matter of throwing the spaghetti on the wall and seeing what sticks, and doing that over and over and over again. One thing that a nice tie-in from my physical life to the mental work that it takes to have a side hustle and to try to grow a business is skateboarding. Like the act of trying, like learning a new trick takes so much persistence and, literally scraping skin off your knees, the board denting your shin. I have so many dents on my shins that prove that I have persistence. Um, that ties in so well with trying to grow a business, trying to start a business, trying to find something that someone else will buy, trying to build the skills and build a network, being rejected. Like persistence is so much, is such a big part of that. And I think, persistence and momentum, like I mentioned earlier, momentum is a really powerful thing that when you don't have it, it's hard to get started. But once you get started, you build some momentum. That's when you start moving faster, and not moving faster in the sense that like our buddy Eric Friedenson, F dot, like he has built some crazy momentum. He switched out of lettering into like, I just want to do like illustrative stuff. And he just like attacked that and just created and created and created and created and created and never stopped creating. Has so much momentum that things start happening. And it wasn't an instant thing. Like, let me see if I can figure out how to weave this into something that makes sense here. There are so many doors of opportunity out there. And if you're standing still, you're only going to see the doors that are like really close by, and you have to hope that one pops up in front of you. But if you're doing things and creating things, even if you don't feel like you're having success immediately, you're moving through the world, and the world is other people. And if the more you create and the more you put your work in front of other people, the people are the opportunities. Like behind every opportunity is a person, whether that's an audience that you can get in front of, or a person that's going to buy the thing you have or hire you. Like every opportunity comes from a person. And so you got to keep creating, you got to keep moving forward to put yourself in front of those potential doors.
Dude, mad goosebumps again. This is like the real shit that I want this show to like be built on, founded on. And all the conversations I have with students, the recurring theme and struggle I hear is like, I'm scared to go all in on something because what if it doesn't turn out to anything? Like I can't predict the results. So like, what's the point if it doesn't turn out anything? But like what you and me have both learned firsthand, behind every opportunity as a person. But even if my freelance career didn't pan out how I thought it was going to, it led me to the next thing. All the skills, all the people I met, my t-shirt clothing company that I busted my ass on religiously for 4 years. It led me to Perspective Collective. Everything I've done as Perspective Collective and freelance and speaking all led me to coaching. And now I'm in coaching, like it's not a failed pursuit. Failure is just truly never giving yourself a shot because you're too scared of the unknown, or fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of success. So I think that's a powerful thing. Like you're not supposed to know the outcome, but just know like all the things you'll learn along the way and the people you meet, that's all going to propel and carry you on to like the next thing that could be the thing that leads to the thing.
Yep.
Yeah. There's no crystal balls in this game.
Nope. If you never did anything because you weren't sure what was going to happen, like literally like everything you think is sure in the path that you're taking, like maybe it's a full-time job. You think obviously like any company can go under, any company can get rid of you. Like
I lost my safe day job after being ensured that I was safe after I got a raise to 61K. And like, you're going to be safe. And I busted my ass all those years. And then my whole entire marketing department got rug pulled. There's no safe thing out there except for betting on yourself.
Yeah. Yep.
I think you have a bonus, a fifth one, right? Here, I don't want to interrupt you.
Yeah.
Did you have anything else you wanted to add on top of that?
No, this is good. I'll go into the bonus. So DMs and Zoom phone calls are gold. Being on social media and commenting on people's stuff is great. But man, when you can get into having one-on-one conversations with people, literally that's where people open up and either share their own wisdom to you, or you just get deeper and build a a connection and a relationship that's going to last longer or more real than just like, think about this, like when you're scrolling through Instagram or Twitter, you recognize like someone's profile picture and maybe their name, maybe you don't even know how to pronounce their name. There's so many people who have like, I was talking with somebody recently and they were like saying somebody's name. This was this weekend. And I was like, wait, that's how you say their name? Oh, weird. Yeah, I've never said that out loud, but I've never had a one-on-one conversation with that person. So like when you do have these one-on-ones, you build a relationship and that becomes so much more real. You sift through the like random people on Twitter they follow to, oh, that's someone I know. That's a friend. That's a relationship. It's so much easier to be top of mind when you've made those kind of connections and you maintain them. And I'm a big fan, obviously, of being transparent and being open in public, but like, I don't put every single detail of what I'm doing on Twitter. I have more intimate conversations one-on-one. And I know that's happening all over the place with everybody else too. So don't be afraid of doing that, with the caveat of don't ask for anything. Just like express gratitude towards someone. Let them know that you'd like to connect, but no worries, I know you're busy. That kind of thing goes a long way. When people are needy and ask and grabby, I'm like, no, it honestly doesn't happen that much to me. Most people are very respectful, but like respecting people goes a freaking long way. And when you express gratitude and be specific too, like I ran a challenge with the Full Harbor members a couple of years ago. I'm going to do it again. We did a month-long challenge where every day you have to reach out to someone you've not reached out to and express gratitude about something that they've done for you, or just something that you think they did that was cool. Like, man, that explainer video you made for Vimeo was amazing. That transition with the hand grabbing the apple and it turning into a snake, like, what? I don't even know how you did that. Great job. That's it. Like, don't expect anything. And we had several people in there get connected with like their favorite YouTubers who then hired them to do work. And it was like, you don't expect some immediate thing like that to happen, but sometimes it does, and you never know. And how much time does it take to DM one person, and you build momentum when you do that every day.
People appreciate being appreciated. What you appreciate appreciates. And when like you're just putting out crazy energy and gratitude and positivity into other people's worlds, like, dude, that creates some wicked energy, which just overfills someone's cup, where it just runs over into someone else's shit, like, yeah, it's powerful stuff. But this is awesome. I'm not even worried about doing, oh my God, rapid fire today. Like what we talked about, I don't even want to fill any fluff with rapid fire today. Like this was incredible, man. I would love to do a round 2. Once you hit that 200K, let's follow up and let's go deeper on that. I want to talk more about money here. So where can people go to find you online, support you, see your work from there?
Yep. Full Harbor is my like Instagram and Twitter account. And then I'm going to have a special link at fullharbor.com/side hustlers. And not sure exactly what's going to be on there, but it's going to be sweet. It's going to be some bonus content I don't have anywhere else. So go sign up there, and I will send you something awesome related to something that's going to be networking, connecting with people, building your network so that you can get what you want.
Awesome, my man. I'm just really, really, really proud of you. It's been so dope, like watching you just grind and scale this shit behind the scenes, figuring out along the way. Like, I know it has not been easy, and I feel like I've just got to see the trajectory continue to just like take off for you. And it's just been, I'm just really hella proud that I get to call myself a friend of yours. It's really, really dope to see you succeed in doing what you do. So I knew you really were the good ones, man.
Thanks.
Well, let's keep in touch. I'm stoked to drop this one on people. Much love to you, brother.
Same.
Peace.
Thanks again for listening. It'd be awesome if you took the time to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and let the comment below so we can connect. Again, if you want to catch a shout out as a future listener of the week, make sure you subscribe to the show on iTunes and give it a rating and review.